Hi, I am your host, Tanya. Today, I am at the red carpet covering an opening night of the 30th Cinequest Film and Creativity Festival at the beautiful California Theater in San Jose. The festival is 13 days long, starting from March 3rd to 15th, 2020. Set in the home of the most influential city, Silicon Valley, Cinequest presents 300 films and virtual augmented reality, 130 of which are world and US premieres. Creativity forums, plus fashion, writing, comedy, dance, music, and art. 1,100 artists, innovators, and youth are present from over 50 countries each year. So let's get started and check out aspiring actors, directors, producers who are showcasing their dream movie projects at Cinequest Film and Creativity Festival 2020. Welcome to Sitari TV.
Thank you. We love your TV.
So, 30 years of Cinequest. Can you tell us something about your journey, please?
My journey started because I fell in love with, I was a math guy, an engineering student. I left it for the arts. My mother about fainted, and I made a feature film, and then that led to my producing partner and I deciding to found Cinequest to give back to people, help people to create their dreams, bring technology into the equation. So that's the journey. The first live event was 3,000 people. Well, we had over 110 last year, 120,000 this yeyear. But more importantly, there are people that come from every walk of life. It's a very inclusive experience where people get together. Our theme is it really is about that this year, elation, the joy that you get when you come together to discover art, share, be with great people.
Yeah. So, what were some challenges you faced while making Cinequest?
Everybody told us it would fail. Literally, I think there was 2 people that said, okay, give it a shot. So I think that happens with a lot of people that have a dream or an idea, and you just have to do it and stick with it. And then building a company that was founded on the premise of culture and technology in the Silicon Valley, that was radical. This is a place where you found companies based on e-technology only. So, and it's worked out great, and it's evolved through time. Mm-hmm.
My name is Alejandra Goyes, and we're world premiering our movie called Love Is Not Love on March 6th, so on Friday. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great. So would you like to explain a little bit about the movie and your experience with working in the movie?
Yeah. Well, the movie talks about or tries to find out what love is and where you can find it. And sometimes people think they can find it somewhere where they don't really at the end of the day. And what you do in order to get there, and how satisfied you can be or not in order to, achieve what you wanted. So it's a pretty complex and interesting subject, and it's done in black and white. So it kind of takes out everything else, and it concentrates on the characters and what the characters are feeling and what they go through. My part, her name is Emilia, and she is a escort. And she falls in love with an older man. So it talks about the older, like an older man's sexuality too, something that doesn't really get, talked about in movies. And I think it's a very interesting in the way he does it. I think it's done very interesting. People are going to find it, daring, and yeah.
So how has your experience been with Cinequest?
Amazing. We're so excited that it got into this festival. I mean, we're really excited. It's a really big festival, and so it's an honor for us to be here. We're really happy. Yeah.
That's a little bit about yourself and your movie.
So my name is Nick Gavecci. I'm from Kansas City. The piece that's actually here is called Helter Shelter. It's a 5-minute short film, originally a spoken word poem about the dehumanization of homeless people. It's something I actually have a lot of personal experience with that. The first time so like anybody else, like my story starts with people or coming out to Los Angeles in pursuit of performance and writing, but a lot of things went bad very quickly, and I ended up through a series of events being out in Oakland, where I was homeless for about 9.5 months. I lived out of a burnt out car for a while. I squatted in a house that's still there. When I landed for this film festival, the first thing I did was actually go up there and check to see if that house is still there. It is, and it's still untouched. Funny story, actually I'll get back to that, but I ended up homeless for a while, and I had to suffer feeling like nobody really saw who I was, because as with any homeless person, we just kind of see their present state, and we don't really see who they were, whether it was 2 weeks ago or 7 years ago or however long they've been in that situation. We forget that they once were a person that had to go through something to get there. But this piece itself was written 10 years after I kind of walked away from that. So after I kind of gave up and I went back to Kansas City, I wrote this piece in 2015, and it started winning spoken word competitions. So I reached out to a friend of mine, he reached out to me, and we made it into a short film, which then got submitted here, and now serendipitously I'm back doing a huge film festival like this with the same topic that had me on the streets 17 years ago. So it was, it's very important to me that I'm here.
And I feel like the best pieces are made with, the most personal experiences ever. Introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your movie.
Sure. I'm Drew Walkup. I directed Fox Hunt Drive. It's a thriller with Allison, who is a down-on-her-luck young architect who's driving rideshare, and she picks up a passenger, a mysterious stranger who's not what he appears to be.
So, what's your role in the movie?
My name's Lizzie Zarepko, and I am the lead actress in the movie.
And I'm Michael Olafson, and I play the shady but devilishly handsome passenger who gets in the back seat of the car.
That is very true. So, how was your experience making this movie?
It was incredible. We did about 3 weeks of filming, and it was all overnights. So it was a very quick process, but an extremely intense one. We had a lot of fun doing it.
How was your experience with Cinequest?
It's been fantastic so far. It's just started though. We're excited for everything.
That's great.
The project is Nina of the Woods, and I'm Charlie Griek, and I'm the director and co-writer.
Okay.
Megan Hensley, and I play Nina.
Wendy Guriak, and I am a producer and art director.
Jay Preston, voice actor, husband of that beauty.
Lovely. I love it. So, can you tell us a little bit about your movie and what it's going to be about and what it's like?
Okay, it's a meditative thriller about an actress who gets cast in a reality show and has to play a version of herself where they're exploring a haunted forest near where she grew up. But it's kind of more of a philosophical story versus a horror movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
how do you enjoy playing Nina?
Oh, I love playing. I feel like she's such a relatable character, and I feel like watching everyone's journey in the film, you can kind of see, dive into your own psyche and dive into what you're working on truly. And I feel like it's such a universal film that everybody can relate to, and it was such an honor to play Nina.
That's great. And any obstacles you came across while producing this film or something?
We actually were really lucky. We filmed in Minnesota, which is notorious for having really bad weather, and we had beautiful weather despite being probably...
I'm Frazier. I'm here with my film is a short comedic documentary. I'm probably the only person in the world who makes comedic short documentaries. It's called A Tall Bike Joust, and it's a documentary. It's actually a fundraiser for a nonprofit bicycle shop, and once a year they have a tall bike joust, and so you get a bicycle and you weld another bicycle frame on top of that, and then you put a millennial on top sitting about 6 feet in the air. You give them a PVC pole with a pillow, and they joust each other in the parking lot of a craft brewery on the asphalt. And it's great fun, but it's actually a pilot for an unscripted series that I've been working on for years called Smart People Being Stupid. And we're hoping to bring that to cable or streaming very soon. I've done this enough years, we've screened in enough festivals, it's time.
That's great. So, what were some of the obstacles you faced while making this movie?
Oh, well, I mean, the first obstacle is you're shooting at night with a bunch of drunk people. And, I mean, it's a craft brewery. I mean, there's going to be drunk people there. And you're going to have people fall into the stands and all the rest of it. And they're going to knock people over. They're going to knock beer over. There are going to be injuries. One guy broke his knee. That's highly unusual. It just happened to happen that year. Other than that, it's just how do you take the joy from that night and how do you bring it to the audience? And how do you also explain to people that this is a fundraiser? This actually provided for, I believe, about 54 people who were probably living on the street to get transportation, get a bicycle, be able to get means to travel so they can actually have a job. And so then they can get their own place to live. And if you don't have transportation, getting a job is very, very hard. So it's for a very good cause.
That's great. That's great. And how has your experience been with Cinequest?
Well, this is my 4th year here. Every year is amazing. They really know how to take care of you here. I tell all my friends, you won't believe it. There's Tito's everywhere. Every place you go, they're introducing you to other people. It's the best hospitality I've ever seen at any film festival. So I would come here any year, even without a film.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for speaking with us today, and good luck for the rest of your journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
75% outdoors in the woods, and we, my husband Charlie, we worked on this together, and we were able to pull together such a great cast and crew, and the end product is something that we're both incredibly proud of.
That's great. And what about you? How was your character? Like, what was it like to play your character?
I don't have a character in it, but I did a little bit of the voiceover work in the beginning of the film. But watching these guys work and seeing a cast and crew be in so much love with what they're doing, I mean, it's inspiring.
You're definitely like all beautifully dressed, and I love it. And it's just, oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Charlie Griak.
I'm Megan Hensley.
Wendy Griak.
And Jay Preston. And you're watching us on
Satori TV.
Woo! And we love it.
My name is Sandeep Mohan. I'm the writer-director of my film. It's called Nirmal Anand Ki Puppy. Nirmal Anand's Puppy, as they say in English here. So that's for the movies.
So what's your movie about?
It's a story set in Mumbai. It's about this urban Indian couple who have a dog, small puppy, and what happens to this family once the puppy goes away from their life, and how it affects the marriage. And it's an urban Indian couple story, and the character study of this husband, Nirmal Anand, who's played by Karanveer Khulla, is a good actor, and Gillian Pinto is the actress who plays the wife. And yes, it's, I think, one of the Indian films, Indian festival movies which doesn't show the, I mean, it's not a poverty porn movie, you know, mostly movies which come from there, India, have to show the poor side of India. But I'm talking about the urban couple, urban stories, you know, so yeah.
That's cool. So what inspired you to make this movie?
Well, I think around me I keep seeing so many people separating post-marriage. Nowadays divorce rates are increasing even in India. A lot of my friends also, I think. So this movie is in some way a reaction to that, and also I feel one needs to work a little bit more harder to keep things alive, much more today, you know. So pets do play a huge role, you know, to sometimes keep the bond going, yeah. And you need it, I feel, you know. There's no escaping that fact that it's difficult to stay together in cities with smaller spaces of houses, and, you know, especially in India, right? So, you know, a loyal, loving, compassionate animal, you know, just makes us feel good about being in a relationship also. So.
My name is Whitney Legg, and my film is called Pigeon Girl. And the synopsis of the film is about a 10-year-old girl who goes to San Francisco and rescues pigeons, while also kind of being bullied and challenged at school for rescuing birds, but also just trying to be herself. So it's a coming-of-age story about a young girl trying to learn the world and also rescue pigeons and kind of finding her way through that.
What inspired you to make this film?
I think that pigeons often get overlooked for being like the rats of the world, and I think this young girl sees pigeons differently, and I think that's a good message for not just animals, but also for humans. So I think her outlook in life and like the way she is able to navigate the world and helping others through the work with the pigeons is kind of inspiring. So I hope people can learn about being themselves and also helping others when the world is kind of challenging you to be who you are and who you need to be. So it's phenomenal. I mean, just being here on the red carpet tonight, speaking with you, there's so many incredible filmmakers, and just everyone has something to offer, both narrative, documentary, and just being around creative people and inspiring people is such a pleasure. So it's inspiring as an artist and as a documentarian to learn from people and learn from this experience. So yeah, everyone's been wonderful. Yeah.
My name is Megan Riakos, and I'm the creator of Australia's first women's horror anthology called Dark Whispers.
So what's your movie going to be about?
So it's 12 short horror films made by Australian women, all tied together with one overarching story, so it's feature length. But because it's female-told horror, it's horror unlike what you normally see at the movies, so much more psychological.
That's cool. What inspired you to make this movie?
So I've made a thriller feature film in the past and a bunch of short horror films, and I just thought that there was this untapped potential for female horror filmmakers that weren't kind of getting their work shown. So I thought, using the knowledge I knew from making my first feature, that I would elevate these voices into a new feature film.
That's really cool. So you're from Australia, right? And is it like one of the first few films that's from Australia in a world premiere?
This is actually our North American premiere here at Cinequest, and there's 2 other Australian films here as well. So I think there's one called Maybe Tomorrow, and My Beautiful Brain, I think it is. So yeah, we've got a couple of other Aussies here.
That's exciting.
I'm Desi Soleil, and I am the co-star of Like, Reply, Share.
I'm Josh Peterson, and I'm the writer-director of Like, Reply, Share.
I'm Normandy Ramirez, and I'm the executive producer of Like, Reply, Share.
So tell us something a little bit about your movie.
So our film is about human connection and the isolation that our current technological age has us in, but ultimately the powerful connection of getting to know someone, and sometimes the universe puts people in your life to help you heal.
And so are there any obstacles you faced while making this film?
Too many to list. I'll have to just sort of choose off the top of my head that we did it with almost no money. We had our DP get sick and disappear on us in the middle of the shoot. He came back, and he's well now, but we had ups and downs like any real micro-budget independent film has.
The producer-director of Cruel Shoes, which is premiering tonight. It's our world premiere. It's written and performed by Steve Martin, the one and only Steve Martin, my favorite comic of all time. And it came about, it's an older comedy track that he did in the 70s, and we licensed it from Warner Brothers and took that comedy bit and turned it into an animated short. So Steve does all the voices, and we worked with a studio called Exceptional Minds in LA, Sherman Oaks, just north of LA. And they, if you're not familiar with Exceptional Minds, they work on a lot of Marvel movies and Game of Thrones and a lot of things on the visual effects side. On the animation side, they've worked on Sesame Street and a few other things, but they're relatively new. And so we were lucky to get in with them. And it's a great studio because it's partly because outside of the talent, it's attached to a school that is for autistic kids. And they'll teach autistic students, not all children, students, animation or visual effects. And then the top artists get hired at the actual studio. And so we worked out with the studio side to do the animation.
C. Williamson, I'm the producer of Fried Barry.
I'm Ryan Kruger, I'm the director of Fried Barry.
That's cool. So can you tell us a little bit about your movie?
So Fried Barry is the story of a crackhead whose body gets stolen by an alien, and the alien basically takes it on a joyride throughout Cape Town, South Africa, and he gets into all sorts of hijinks. You know, it's fun for the whole family, really.
Kids are going to love it.
I know. I mean, I'm going to love it too. So how was it like making this movie?
I think the great thing about this movie is that in South Africa, we don't make these type of movies whatsoever. We make apartheid or poverty movies or dramas and some rom-coms. So Fried Barry is like the first of its kind to come out of South Africa, which is pretty cool. And I think with Fried Barry, we just wanted to push the boundaries and make something what we wanted to make, and something very different and just crazy and out there. But the way we made it, the cool thing was that we didn't have a script to start with. So I wrote a scene breakdown in about 3 or 4 days, and a month later we were shooting the movie. So the whole movie is improv. It's all improvised and workshopped on the day. And I wrote about 6 pieces of dialogue for about 6 actors, and then that was it. And as the movie went, we evolved, and we didn't know how it was going to end. So we were just keeping making it as we went along. So it was quite a kind of unique and kind of special living in the moment when we were shooting those scenes, and that we didn't know where it was going to go. But because of the improv, I think we got so many gems just from that. Because normally, obviously, when you make a normal film, it's set, and the only way it's going to be different is if the director directs it differently or the actors, do something different. But it's normally set, the script set. So with this, it was just magic to have an idea at the top of your head and go, let's do this, and we can do it. So I think that was really fun to be able to have that creativity.
And yeah, we've got our world premiere on the 6th of March, this Friday at 3 Below. And Fried Barry is the only feature film from not only South Africa, but it's the only African-made feature film in the whole of Cinequest. And honestly, we're so proud to be representing our country here.
My name is Matt Donaher, and I am presenting a documentary on the great comedian John Panette.
Okay, so is that the name of the documentary?
The documentary is called You Go Now.
Oh, cool. So what inspired you to make this documentary?
Oh, I didn't make it. My manager made it, but John was a very inspiring person himself. He was a great comedian from Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay. So what's your connection to this documentary?
I'm a comedian from Boston, Massachusetts. So John is someone who I always looked up to.
That's great.
Hello, I'm Matt Donaher. I'll be doing some stand-up comedy before the John Panette documentary tonight here at the opening night at Cinequest. Thank you for watching Satari TV.
Today we talked to many aspiring actors, producers, directors, filmmakers, and it was such a great experience to learn about their movie projects. We are so thankful to Cinequest for giving us this opportunity to learn about many inspiring actors and people. And see you next year.